Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video leading up to the Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 11. In this one, we're going to start with giving our thoughts on The Walking Dead's popularity continuing to decline. And spoiler warning, as per usual, if you guys have not seen The Walking Dead up to current date, which is up to episode 10 for The Walking Dead Season 8. So I thought we would continue along this kind of conversation. As I said last week, I would kind of update you guys on how episode 10 did in terms of ratings and in terms of popularity for Walking Dead. I personally find it interesting to kind of see where the peaks of the series are in that. And I won't beat it to death, so I won't be doing, too many of these going forward. But it's fun to kind of see where it's at, unless it drastically goes down worse or something. This season finishing up season 8. But, I decided for this one we would go ahead and, kind of update on that one, and then we'll get into some of your guys' Q&A questions afterwards. And if you guys haven't seen, I got, lots of Fear the Walking Dead videos coming for you. Some awesome new pictures for Fear, getting to see our first actual crossover between Morgan and Nicholas, the first meeting. So that's in the channel right now. I'll have it in the end screen videos for you guys here in this video, so you can click that after this one to get to see all kinds of new preview pictures for Fear the Walking Dead. If you're planning on watching Season 4 for Fear, you got to see these videos, you guys, because there's just so many new cool things in them that you got to see, new characters in that, and some character portraits, and Morgan meeting the others. It's really cool, man, so we got to check that out. And that, of course, is something that a lot of us are really excited for this year. So can't wait to see Fear's premiere on April 15th. So Walking Dead popularity decreasing even further after Carl. So we got the ratings in US for last Sunday night for episode 10. And what it came in at, we had a couple people send this through. Michael Liccone and Brian Achim said the episode had less than 7 million viewers in the US. Are the Walking Dead views going to continue to keep decreasing? And Michael said 6.82 million viewers. I don't see the ratings going up at all anymore. The damage is done already. Would love to hear your thoughts. So is what it is, right? So episode 10, the lowest rated episode, below 7 million in the sixes since season 2. It's the first episode to get below 7 million viewers in the US, so this low, 6.8, since season 2, episode 11, which was 6.77. So yeah, this is kind of crazy when you look at season 8, where The Walking Dead is at right now, literally getting the same amount of attention, the same amount of people in the US watching it as back in the days of season 2. Not even season 3, season 2. Season 3's ratings were around or over 10 most of the time. Now, there were some things going on that that night, last Sunday, there was the Oscars that was on, so there is that. So that would have an effect with the Oscars being on, that a lot of people might check that out rather than watching this episode, The Lost and the Plunderers. But that said, I mean, even still, it's quite a bit lower than what we probably would have thought it to be. So basically, the season 8 mid-season finale goes through with how it's got to be. They reveal, spoiler warning, that Carl is going to die. Carl has been bitten. And there weren't any dumpsters this time. In episode 9, we actually saw in honor Carl's last episode, and Carl actually died. So the episode coming after that, episode 10, we didn't really get much in the way of any kind of bump here or increase here. Basically, you got even lower than the mid-season premiere, which was at 8.28, which is not bad. 7.89 for the mid-season finale. So you go in, you're at about that level, and it has dipped even a little bit further than what probably a lot of us thought The Walking Dead would kind of ever really get into. But a lot of it kind of fits in line with what a lot of us are thinking, which is that The Walking Dead had kind of its heyday, its popularity, peak at around season 5, 6, 7, and then, of course, after that, just kind of coming down a bit afterwards with season 8. So it sounds like, with regards to the Carl death and the question of whether or not it was worth it, if anything, all it really did was keep everybody watching for the mid-season premiere and the mid-season finale, give it a little bit of a bump. And when I mean a little bit, I mean like very minor, like 500,000 views more for the mid-season premiere, which it kind of usually has anyway. Usually the mid-season premieres are higher than your regular episodes would be anyway, because people are excited and they can't wait to see the second half of the season start again. So now after seeing that kind of come through and kind of having that big major character death, all it really did was kind of keep things in terms of viewer interest on first viewing in the United States just on par with what it was doing. You know, if you look at episode 6 of season 8, it was 8.28, which is the same as the mid-season premiere was. So if anything, all it really did to kill Carl off was pretty much keep it at the same level for a few episodes here, and now in episode 10, you've seen it kind of decline even further to season 2 levels yet again, or under a lot of the episodes in season 2, under everything since, basically. So these are the lowest ratings it's had since then. I would pretty much say that if part of the goal was to kill Carl off to keep the show hot or to keep people talking about The Walking Dead, even that really didn't do it. So at that point, I would say, was it a mistake to kill him off? Would have been better to keep him on longer and have somebody else. If you killed somebody else off, it would have been a little bit lower, but in terms of the writing, we're going to have to see how the season finishes up and how it feels with Carl's whole dream thing and what they do here and what this looks like. But really, I would say that, it really didn't boost things hardly at all. Like, if it boosted ratings, if it kind of increased interest for The Walking Dead, it was minor. At best case scenario, it pretty much just kept the show where it was at and stopped it from, going a little bit further for a little while. So I do expect with episode 11 for things to be probably over 8 or about 7.5 or something like that would be a good prediction for Dead or Alive, which is Sunday night. So episode 11 coming up, next episode. I would expect for it to be somewhere in the 7s. I don't expect for it to dip even further, because I did think episode 10 was really crazy to get to see Simon just wipe out the Garbage Pail Kids and everything we saw with that. So it's what it is, but with regards to the Carl death, if anybody was kind of questioning that, I think we can pretty much say at this time it had a very minor impact. If anything else, it just kept things on track for a little while, but inevitably, you're seeing a general decline after so many seasons of The Walking Dead. Pretty much, I want to say, regardless of what they do, even their best-ditch efforts to kill off like an A-lister character, an A-plus lister character with Carl, one of your top leads in the show, just basically kept the thing afloat at the same kind of level. And I do think going forward, a natural prediction would be, I think things will continue to kind of decline around like a 5 level, probably million viewers. And again, there's a lot of people watching from other countries. There's people who DVR, there's people who download, there's people who torrent, whatever they're doing, whatever, watch it on Netflix the next year, whatever. So it's still a huge thing for Walking Dead, even for AMC, even still huge series and everything. But I think the phenomenon, the hot spot for Walking Dead is probably over, and going forward for the next few seasons, they can probably expect U.S. viewers to probably get somewhere around, I would say, stabilization, probably at about 5. Hopefully not get down to 4, but somewhere around like 5 or something like that for your 16 episodes, your average being like 5.5 or something like that for season 9, season 10. And I really highly doubt you will ever see The Walking Dead get to like 10 plus ever again, unless it's like in the final season and they're just wrapping things up at that point. Then maybe at that point you'd see something like that, but we probably will never see things like that again based on this trend. So we'll see, but that's kind of what I'm thinking now. And if you were kind of debating, was it worth it to kill Carl off? Probably not, because it really didn't do that much. And based on this episode, it really didn't, pump your further episodes up based on what we're seeing here. It really didn't, boost or reinvigorate The Walking Dead that much. If anything, it just kept it basically at the same level that it was at. And so that'll be it for a while for as far as we talk about discussing ratings and that kind of stuff, unless they, nosedive even further or something, or if they increase drastically for the finale, I'll do a video on it. But aside from that, I won't make that kind of the key starting question for any of the videos in the future, because, it's what it is. It's going along with what a lot of us were thinking anyway, so it's really just kind of confirmation, continuing what we're seeing. Rosita's hubby says, it was a great episode written by the new showrunner who Trev don't like too much, as she wrote still. So that's true, and maybe I should weigh in on that one here too. Angela Kang and her episodes, I've done some videos on this, kind of giving my thoughts briefly, but yeah, for season 9, she's not my favorite writer for Walking Dead. Her style and the things that she does best are generally, for me, not the thing that I look forward to most for a series like this, but it's still The Walking Dead. It's still my favorite series on TV, and I am intrigued to see her kind of direction and what it feels like to see her show run versus just do a single episode. Getting to see her in a single episode, a lot of people really love her style. They really love her Walking Dead, and it feels like an old Walking Dead, according to a lot of people that are watching, like episode 10 there, written by Angela Kang as well as a couple others. So season 9, we're going to have to see what it looks like with her show running all the way through. But I think the people that like her style and like her episodes, they're going to love it. For them, it's going to be like they're going to love Walking Dead. Absolutely, it's going to be amazing for them. For me, it's probably going to be okay, just based on what she does, based on kind of the way that she does her Walking Dead episodes. To get to see a whole season of that, it's going to be a nice change. It's going to be a nice change of pace. But for me, you guys know, I love the action. I love the horror. I love the gore. I love the, that kind of thing for Walking Dead. That's me, but everybody has their own taste, and The Walking Dead does a lot of different things. It's not just simply a horror show. It's not like with All Out War, it's not simply an action series. It's not simply just a drama. You have a lot of different things in the Walking Dead universe happening in these 16 episodes each season, and everybody has their kind of favorite kind of points and the things they like best, or the version of Walking Dead they like best. For some people, it's still like that season 2 feel. So we'll see what it looks like with her show running a whole season, but I would not be surprised personally if, for me, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, it's okay, but maybe it's not my favorite style of Walking Dead for season 9 and 10. But we'll see. The Whisperers should be hot, so if they do the Whisperers justice at all, it should be awesome, man. Can't wait to see that for sure. Regardless, because she does do some good horror though too, right? Some of her stuff for the horror is really well done. So we'll see what that looks like with her next year. And you can watch a lot of the videos I've done on the feel and that kind of thing if you want to hear kind of more about what I'm talking about her episodes and her style, the thing that she does best for Walking Dead, in comparison to some of the other showrunners, and they all kind of have their strengths. So you can check out those videos if you want to see more on that. BD King 1997 says, Trev Q&A, do you think there is a possibility that Aaron will be killed off soon? Enid said something like to him, promise I'll see you again. And I feel like that may be foreshadowing his death. Love the channel and would love to hear your thoughts. And again, for me, that's just kind of something that she likes to do a lot. She has, it's a heavy focus on the relationships between the characters. That's her thing, if you ask me, with regards to Walking Dead. And the thing that she does as the standout the most, that's what it is. It's that dialogue between the characters. It's the interpersonal relationships people have. That is what she stands out at. So for season 9, that's probably what you're looking at seeing a lot more of. But we'll see if my breakdowns are accurate, or if it just feels exactly the same as some prior seasons. But that would I expect. So I think that's just basically her style of how she does things. And do I think they'll kill Aaron off this season? No, I don't think so. I think he'll come barging back in the finale with the Oceanside at his back, and she'll smile and she'll be like, yes, you got him. And he'll be there, and all the rest will be there, and they'll come in and they'll, help try to stop the Saviors. So I think that's what's going to happen. Jay Morris says, where do you think Jadis's character can go from here? And did this episode make you like or dislike her and Simon more or less? So in this episode 10, I liked Simon even more than I ever did before. I thought this was the best stuff for Simon in the whole show. I thought it was amazing. I thought it really changes the way you watch the previous episodes, and you really get a different sense of Simon and how he's like this kind of loose cannon with this all bottled up, putting up with Negan stuff and having to try to deal with Negan's idealism about, following this kind of one and done type of thing, and the rest will fall in line. And he just snapping during this episode. I loved it as a villain. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not psychopathic, but as a villain, for setting him in as like this really harsh, just badass savior, that was awesome for Simon. I thought that was just great. For Jadis as well, too, I feel like it got her a bunch of sympathy. Now, a lot of people hated her because of what she did with the season 7 finale, turning on the group. So if you hated her, you probably loved it because she got her comeuppance at the hands of Simon. And if you did kind of like the character, too, you probably feel even more for her now because she's basically lost everything and had to churn her group into zombie meatloaf. So that's what it is. So I personally, where does she go from here though? So I liked what they did with both Jadis and Simon tremendously in episode 10. Where do they go from here for each one? Man, Simon, I think he's going to die this season. It's been a long-running prediction for me. And again, for you guys, it's not spoilers. Some of my predictions are right. Some of them are totally wrong. I really did think Morgan was going to be killed off this half, and it's really not looking like that's going to happen at all. So, I'm wrong more than I'm right with predictions, and most of you guys are too. So that's what it is. I've seen them. So I know it's difficult to predict for this show who's going to do what. It's not a predictable series. No one would have predicted Carl would be killed off this season. If you did, then you either saw you're cheating, or you saw something, or you've got some freaking crazy skills or something. I don't know. But with regards to where she goes from here, I would think more towards trying to get revenge on Simon, maybe being kind of a future ally for the group, but they could go the villain route too, and this kind of being an origin story for a standalone wicked awesome villain in future seasons. So we'll see what direction they go with. I would say probably ally, because she probably hates the Saviors a lot more than she hates Rick, but Rick also didn't help her, so she's probably not going to be too fond of Rick in the group either. So she's kind of an outcast either way, unless her and Rick kind of make up and she doesn't hold them accountable for anything that happened there. Yeah, but she's probably going to regret turning on Rick at first to begin with, because if they would have taken him out in the finale, they probably would have won. They probably would have beaten the Saviors right then and there, and it would have all been over. Adam Willis says, the problem with this episode is that it was largely dedicated to aimlessly furthering the plot of two useless communities. The garbage people content was decent for sure, but it doesn't take away from the fact that they had no reason to exist in the first place and have not contributed anything meaningful to the story. The Oceanside stuff is purely nonsensical. I'm not sure I can phrase it any more appropriately than that. Holds up to logic at all, and no one involved reacted to any of it like actual human beings. And yeah, that's somewhat true. The Oceanside stuff, like I said, didn't really like in this episode, didn't care for it all, so I agree with you there, Adam. I did really like the Garbage Pail kids, the garbage group in this one, the garbage people, as Negan says. So I really like what they did in the TV series with them. I thought they were really funny, and in kind of just a very comic booky way. They're very comic booky characters, even though surprisingly they were never in the comic book series. They certainly are a group that you could see in a comic book series. I mean, really cool. So I liked what they did with the garbage people, and kind of the twist in the finale to use them for that. Them kind of being a weaker group. They put on a good show. They look strong, but in reality they're not really that strong. They hand over their guns to Simon without any real thinking about it first, without sitting there thinking about, like, okay, if we give you our guns, we're at your mercy. You're going to screw us. And I also love what it does for Simon, because a lot of times Simon is really nice, like he's overly nice to people, and then they hand over their guns, and all of a sudden you see the other side to him, and it's like, now they're screwed. So they're not the smartest. They're wishy-washy back and forth, and they're kind of a group that, it seems to me, they just survived because nobody would care to go to a junkyard in a zombie apocalypse. Like, they're in a spot where no one is going to go check there. No one is going to try to, at least I wouldn't think anyone would really want to go there, just based on what it is, the heapsters and the heaps that they produce and everything. So it's, I liked it, but again, everybody's different for Walking Dead. We all have our favorites. JP Walker Slayer says, Trev, do you think Simon's reference to the helipad had any important significance to the helicopter that Rick saw earlier in the season? So maybe, we'll have to see how this whole thing wraps up with All Out War, and if we see that helicopter again, if we do, I wouldn't be surprised if it had something to do with Jadis. I don't know. She hasn't given up a lot. They could still be hiding something. She could still have something that she's hiding. Some people like the pilot theory. Some people don't like it at all. And we'll see. But I'd like to see her get her revenge on Simon, even if it's a kamikaze, fly a helicopter right into him or something. I don't know. It could be cool either way. But it'd be a nice setup for this finale, and it'd be something epic. So we'll see if they do that. Stacker Infinity says, Simon mentioned the helipad and solar panels. Is this where the helicopter we saw came from? It was surprising when he mentioned this. So I think so. I think it was. So, did the garbage group have a helicopter? Did they have another? Is there another group out there that they were kind of, communicating with or involved with some way? Will Jadis go out and try to seek them out? Or, man, I don't know, man. There's still so many questions about it. It's just like impossible to say. But I think what he was trying to do is he was trying to figure out, is this group any use to us? Is what Simon's trying to figure out with that line. I think he's trying to say, should I bother to leave these people alive knowing that they could turn on us anytime again? And him thinking probably Negan's a fool for trying to get these people in line. They're not trustworthy. They flip back and forth, whichever way the wind blows. So, for him, he's like, are they really worth taking the risk? And then she kind of, about being remorseful, kind of hits him in front of everybody and stuff. So he loses his alpha in front of his whole group. Yeah, you would expect him to just lose at that point and say, you guys are useless. Light it up, gents. Light it up. That was, that was sick. So, really sick. Blood splatter, blood splatter everywhere. The only thing is they didn't show it to us as much as I wanted to see it, but whatever. It's cool. And the last one will be from Awesome Rider 2, who says, hey, Trev, is Season 8 your favorite season yet? If not, then do you think it will be? And so for Awesome Rider, I would say it is one of the, when I look at it, it's definitely better than Season 7, for sure. Season 6 is my favorite. Season 5 is probably next. After that, depending on how this whole thing wraps up at the end, it might be my favorite season after Season 5. Like, it might be like my, third favorite season or fourth favorite season, something like that. But again, it really depends on how they do that final confrontation between Rick and Negan, how the final battle goes down here, and it certainly is one of my favorite seasons for The Walking Dead. The amount of things they've done in the season, having a huge character death like Carl, which is totally unexpected, bringing Morales back, totally unexpected, tons of action all the way through. It's pretty damn close, Awesome Rider. It's pretty close. And regardless of whatever the ratings are, people's interest, whatever, really, me personally, loving it, man. Just absolutely loving Season 8 of The Walking Dead for sure. So, it might end up being my favorite season, but it's got to beat Season 6 and Season 5 out right now. It's probably in third or fourth, because Season 3 I also like a lot too. A lot of action in Season 3 as well too. Even though this one's kind of, when you compare it, Season 3's action is not much compared to this. This is a lot more than what we'd expect, and a lot bigger scale too. So it's kind of hard to say like, oh, I like Season 3 more. When you look at it, it's like, well, Woodbury's pretty small compared to everything we're seeing this season. So let me know what you guys think, and of course, check back for the review for The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 11. Can't wait to see how the season wraps up, and can't wait to see the start of Fear. Check out those Fear videos if you guys haven't seen them. And if you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it, and you can do it. You can subscribe at the bottom. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. I'll see you guys soon.